May I ask you all to rise, please, and stand in front of your cushions just for a few minutes of movement. Be very careful with your socks on the floor, it can be slippery. So we'll stand with our feet hip distance apart. Let's start with bringing our hands together in front of the heart center, softening at the knees, and we'll take a nice big inhale and reach up towards the sky. Breathing in, breathing out. Another big inhale, and release the arms down and back in front of the heart center. Again, soften at the knees as you inhale, reach all the way up. This time, let's grab the right wrist with the left hand and we'll side bend over towards the windows. Breathing into the side body, trying to relax the neck and shoulders. Inhale, come back up again, grab hold of the opposite wrist and side bend the other way. Nice and easy and relaxed. Breathing in again. Releasing the hands and coming into cactus arms. We'll just squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. Imagine that you're holding a pencil between your shoulder blades. And then step the feet nice and wide, turn the toes out and the heels in. And we'll bend the knees. As we inhale, we'll reach up, spread the arms. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, spread the arms, and then we'll turn the right toes out and the left toes in. Reach the arms out shoulder level and bend at the knee for your warrior pose, looking over the right arm. And then we'll come back to cactus. Try to stay nice and low, bending. And then the other way, warrior. Back to cactus, squatting. The other way, relax the shoulders, back to cactus. One more time. Warrior, beautiful. Go ahead and come back to neutral, release the arms. Give yourself a nice little hug here. Drop the chin towards the sternum. Release the back of the neck and shoulders. Breathing in and breathing out. And then relax the arms, step the feet back. We'll reach behind us and interlace the fingers. Step the right foot forward. Roll the shoulders back. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. Really plug into the right big toe. Inhale. And exhale, hinge forward. Relaxing over that leg. Let the neck go, let the head go. If it feels good, maybe just nod your head, yes, yes, yes. One more inhale and exhale here. And then press the feet into the floor as you inhale yourself back up again. Release the arms, sweep the arms up overhead, interlace the fingers, press up towards the sky. And then release the arms again. Come back behind you, and then this time interlace maybe the different way, the opposite finger on top. Step the left foot forward. Roll the shoulders back and down. Inhale, lift the heart, spread the chest. Exhale, hinge forward. Folding over that leg. Again, let the weight of the head go. Breathe in, breathe out. And then pressing into the feet, come back up again. Release. Sweep the arms up overhead one more time. Press towards the sky. And then release the hands, bring the hands behind the hips, fingertips pointed down. And we'll just gently drop the chin towards the sternum as you press the hips forward, roll the shoulders back. Breathe into the front body. And then release the hands, bring the hips back. Gently fold over the legs with soft knees, big bend in your knees if you like. And here again, nodding the head, yes, yes, yes.
And shaking the head, no, no, no. And very slowly stacking your vertebra one at a time, rolling up, rolling up, rolling up. Please come back down into your comfortable seats. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Make your seat comfortable. Good morning. Welcome to Buddha's birthday celebration ceremony. The birthday of Shakyamuni Buddha, the 8th day of the 4th month of the lunar year, is the day for celebrating the coming of Shakyamuni Buddha, who is the original guide of our order of Won Buddhism. In Won Buddhism, Buddha's birthday is one of the 4 celebrations. Why do you think is the word Buddhism in the name of Won Buddhism? After the founding master Sotaesan attained great enlightenment at his age of 26, as he read the Diamond Sutra while perusing widely the scriptures of all the various religions, the founding master said, Shakyamuni Buddha is truly sages of sages. He continued, even though I have attained the way without the guidance of the teacher, looking back from the time of my initial aspiration up to my final enlightenment, many aspects of my experience coincide with the practice and sayings of the Buddha in the past. And he said he would adopt Shakyamuni Buddha as his original guide, and in the future, he would create in this world a perfect and complete religious order by taking the Buddha Dharma as its core principle. So that is the reason Won Buddhism has Buddhism in its name, and we celebrate Shakyamuni Buddha's birthday truly. On this special day, we will join a sound bath meditation. I am so pleased to introduce Jane Sorensen, a sound healer and a Reiki master. Please welcome her.
Thank you all so much for having me today. We'll start off by placing our right hand on our chest, our left hand on our belly, and take a deep breath in with your eyes closed, inhaling through the nose, feeling that breath travel in through your lungs, expanding your belly, and holding it for just a moment. And exhale, release. During this time, take a moment to set a positive intention, and we'll take a few more breaths. Deep inhale through your nose, and holding that breath for just a moment. Exhale, release, let everything go. Deep inhale through your nose, filling up your lungs, feeling your belly expand, and holding that breath. Exhale, release, let everything go. Feel free to continue that breathing pattern. And deep inhale, holding that breath for just a moment, thinking of your positive intention. And exhaling your positive intention out into the world. Thank you all so much, and we will continue with Buddha celebration.
Thank you, Jane. We deeply appreciate you share your beautiful practice with us. In honor of each phase of Buddha's life, we will offer a praising prayer to the Shakyamuni Buddha led by Reverend Yu. At the end of each phase, we will offer a standing bow with the sound of the bell. All rise, please, and join your palms together.
Bow to the Buddha. 1. The Buddha, the fully enlightened one, the great master for sentient beings, came into the world. We bow in gratitude. The Buddha, the compassionate for all sentient beings, is born in Lumbini Gardens, India. We bow in gratitude. The Buddha, the master for all sentient beings, observed the human suffering at 4 gates of the palace. We bow in gratitude. The Buddha, the great master for all sentient beings, left the palace to become a renunciant and search for the truth. We bow in gratitude. The Buddha, the great master for all sentient beings, carried out many various ascetic practices in the Himalayas to attain great enlightenment. We bow in gratitude. The Buddha, the great master for all sentient beings, subjugated Mara under the Bodhi tree and attained the supreme enlightenment. We bow in gratitude. The Buddha began turning the wheel of the Dharma at the Deer Park to deliver all sentient beings. We bow in gratitude. The Buddha, the great master for all sentient beings, entered parinirvana at Kushinagara. We bow in gratitude.
Please be seated. Now we will read 3 refuges, which means to take refuge in the 3 jewels, the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, which are inwardly within us too. Please turn to page 10. We will read together. 3. Refuge. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows the way in this life. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and of love. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. We will chant Heart Sutra on page 5. Heart Sutra. The Bodhisattva of great compassion, when deeply practicing Prajna Paramita, realized that all 5 aggregates are empty and thus became free from all suffering and distress. O Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Same is true of sensations, perception, impulses, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty, they do not appear or disappear, are not tainted or pure, do not increase or decrease. Emptiness, no form, no sensations, no perceptions, no impulses. Consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, tongue, no body, no mind, no form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, or mind. Consciousness, no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, no old age and death, nor extinction of them, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, with nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva relies on Prajna Paramita, therefore the mind has no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no fears exist, free from delusion. One dwells in nirvana. All Buddhas of the past, present, and future rely on Prajna Paramita and attain supreme enlightenment. Therefore know that Prajna Paramita is the great mantra, is the great enlightening mantra, is the unsurpassed and unequaled mantra, which is able to eliminate all suffering. This is true now, full, so proclaim the Prajna Paramita mantra, which says gone, gone, gone beyond, far beyond, now awakened. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisattva. Gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisattva. Today, in honor of the Buddha, Reverend Ginger will give us a Dharma talk titled Learning from Siddhartha's Journey to Enlightenment.
Good morning. Happy Buddha's Day. Shall we do some stretching actually first? So relax your shoulders. If you need to move your body a little bit, stretch out your legs, please do so. This talk is more like storytelling of the Buddha's life. So Buddha's birthday is also known as Vesak, and I've learned that term when I came to this state a few years ago. Vesak is observed in Theravadan and Tibetan Buddhism to honor the Buddha's birth, enlightenment, and death. This year, it falls on May 26th. When we refer to the Buddha, we usually mean a historical figure. He was a prince named Siddhartha Gautama who lived some 26 years ago in northern India and Nepal. He was born into a Shaka warrior clan, which is why he is often referred to as Shakyamuni, meaning sage of the Shakas. This morning I will focus on his aspirations toward enlightenment. Legend has it that after his birth, a wise man predicted two possible paths for him, either becoming a great spiritual leader for all beings, or a mighty ruler who'd conquer not only India but entire world. To ensure that his son would choose a worldly path, Sarada's father, the king, provided him with abundant comfort and shielded him from the hardships of the outside world. However, his father's plans did not unfold as he had hoped. One incident occurred at the sowing ceremony when Siddhartha was 12 years old. He participated in this important celebration with his royal family, adorned in magnificent attire, reflecting their authority over the general public. From an elevated platform, they looked down on the people, content with their status. The young prince's attention, however, was drawn elsewhere. He observed farmers toiling and sweating profusely. The farmers were working so hard without proper clothing, suffering from the heat. To young Siddhartha's eye, they looked miserable. So let's reflect on this scene. Siddhartha had everything he needed, yet he empathetically observed the suffering of others. So does this make him special? What do you think? I think no. Maybe so. I don't think this is not quite special about him. The capacity for empathy is universal, and witnessing others' suffering is not uncommon. We often encounter beggars at intersections or tourist spots. How would you feel if you were enjoying a happy moment with loved ones while someone nearby is suffering? This would likely make you uncomfortable. The sight of a beggar, whether or not you give them money, can disrupt your peace and leave you uneasy. Most people would prefer not to be in such a situation for an extended period of time. Often we try hard to avoid connecting with that uneasiness that arises in our minds. However, Siddhartha responded differently. Instead of avoiding the discomfort, he continued to observe the scene deeply, seeking to understand what was happening during the ceremony. It was then that he made a remarkable observation. Not only were the farmers suffering from their hard work, but the kettle also appeared beautiful. Upon closer inspection, Strada noticed insects crawling out from the ground, which birds then flew in and ate. What young Strada witnessed was this chain of suffering. Through his calm observation, he recognized the fundamental components that constitute this reality. All beings experience suffering. This insight was one of the things that made him unique as he began to realize that everyone is subject to this universal truth. If we were to contemplate the scenery of farmers, cattle, and birds in the fields, we might find it peaceful. Just like when we look out through this window, it looks just peaceful. However, what we see may be a delusion created by our own minds, which prevents us from understanding the complete reality. We see what we want to see. But if we look deeply into this rural landscape, we'll find not only beauty but also suffering. After establishing a deep connection with all beings, Siddhartha proceeded to enter into his first meditation beneath a tree. According to legend, while he sat in tranquility, an auspicious shadow was cast around the tree. During one such instance, his father, the king, was compelled to bow before his son and witness this phenomenon, even though he had not wanted events like this to come out. Although Siddhartha physically left the palace many years later, his spiritual journey had commenced on the very day. When Siddhartha reached the age of 16, the king arranged his marriage. While Siddhartha enjoyed his life as a prince and now had a family of his own, his mind was constantly drawn to a spiritual quest. This longing grew stronger as he witnessed the realities of aging, illness, and death of all human beings. He realized that, regardless of his circumstances, he was destined to follow this path of suffering. He expressed his desire to leave the palace and to seek an end to suffering. Once again, the king tried to dissuade Siddhartha by promising him anything he wanted if he would change his mind. In response, Siddhartha asked his father, "Oh, father, if so, please show me how to escape aging, sickness, death, and separation from loved ones." The king sadly replied, "My son, it is impossible to avoid this fundamental aspect of human existence. Don't you ever wish for anything else." Siddhartha remained steadfast in his decision, and as a result, the king finally allowed him to leave only after he had a son who would inherit the crown. Let us pause here and examine two different points of view. While the father believed suffering was inevitable, not to be resisted, Siddhartha challenged this limited view. He believed that there must be a way to end it, and that this did not mean changing its material aspect, but rather transforming one's perception of it. Do you perhaps relate more with Siddhartha or his father? You might appreciate Siddhartha's willingness to question his father's beliefs, yet you may also recognize your own limitations in challenging conventional thinking. Do you sometimes find yourself trapped in repetitive and stagnant situations, feeling unable to make positive changes? I do. Surprisingly, we often endure this without considering the possibility of transformation. What do we need then to escape this? We need to take action. And our actions start by questioning our ingrained thought patterns, much as Starda did. Isn't there a way to overcome suffering? This mindset creates a spiritual vow that drives transformative changes in our lives. In the Won Buddhist scriptures, Master Chongsan emphasized the importance of cultivating a spiritual vow as the driving force for progress in the midst of hardships. The scripture says, when one's mind is fully dedicated to achieving their goals without being swayed, they remain unaffected even when confronted with countless worldly attachments. Starda exemplified this by leaving the palace, forsaking material comfort and security, and even his wife and newborn child. At the age of 29, Starda finally began his quest. His first goal was to visit the renowned teacher where he learned the formless realm meditation. Through this practice, he gained, first, the power of concentration, and second, insight to break the concept of dualism. And I want to take a look at the second point of his insight. What does it mean to break the concept of dualism? Starda saw that anything understood through a dualistic view is a delusion. Everything has its counterpart. Life is accompanied by death, right? Love by hatred, yes, that's a good one, or anger. Day by female by. We can go on and on and on, right? However, these are illusory when seen from the perspective of our true nature. To apply this teaching in our everyday lives, we can practice embracing a balanced and unbiased mindset and avoiding one-sided thinking. For example, we have a tendency to believe that what we consider right applies universally to others. An example can be found in dining experiences. What tastes salty to us may not necessarily taste salty to others. However, we often insist that what is salty to us must be the same for everyone else. And this makes, little argument all the time in our household, right? Everywhere. In Korea, yes. This truth applies to almost all experiences. In what may appear beautiful to me, or right or wrong. In sharing our own opinions, we can express what we believe is right, but without clinging to the notion of absolute correctness. Clinging to absolute correctness, we may later find ourselves in the wrong. To return to the first lesson, the power of concentration and insight. These are beneficial to everyone. Through tranquility, we experience peace and happiness. We can also cultivate humility and nurture our compassionate hearts. While this may be the desired outcome for many of us through our practice, Starda came to realize that this blissful state was not his ultimate goal. Thus, he embarked on a continuing journey, parting ways with his initial teacher. He then passed a group of ascetic practitioners whose belief was focused on breaking boundaries through physical suffering. However, Starda observed that their faces and minds were not at ease. This was not the path he was looking for either. Eventually, Starda practiced without guidance. He experimented with his body to confront suffering directly. He engaged in various practices such as abstaining from meals to observe his body's reaction and pausing his breath to explore its limits and effect. His objective was not merely to endure physical suffering, but to gain insight into the nature of suffering. As a byproduct, he was able to transcend bodily desires that had been ingrained in him all his life. Sarada's decision to treat his physical body as an experimental subject is remarkable. It highlights how we often overlook the fundamental principles that bring contentment or cause pain. Reflecting on our own behavior, we often seek contentment, yet unknowingly create the root of our suffering. Similarly, we fear pain without truly comprehending its nature. Although these different approaches did not directly lead to great enlightenment, they provided Starda with a profound understanding of the mind and body's principles. He recognized the equal importance of both on the spiritual path, which led him to adopt the middle way. With the clear direction in mind, Starda sat under the Bodhi tree, determined to transcend suffering. Eventually, he discovered the answer he had been seeking. So far, I've walked you through Starda's journey toward enlightenment. Let me add one more observation in closing. In his life within the palace and on the road, he must have experienced deep loneliness. In the palace, he was a seeker, while those around were content with worldly pursuits and satisfactions. On the road, he carried the weight of his mission to end the suffering. Perhaps it is true that the pursuit of a spiritual life is often a solitary endeavor, regardless of where or how we begin our practice. In the One Dharma Center, we offer several meditation programs, including a daily morning session starting at 5:30 a.m. There are almost always local practitioners like Gil or Ellen who join us. Most likely, in order to attend this morning practice, they wake up while everyone else in their family is still asleep. They may encounter a sense of solitude in their practice. In fact, my sister-in-law initially perceived my ordained life in a similar way. Let me share a conversation that my sister-in-law had with my teacher. Before my brother got married, he introduced his girlfriend to my teacher, who was the head Kyomunim in the temple our family attended. His girlfriend, now my sister-in-law, had limited knowledge about the life of Kyomunim, the one Buddhist minister. She expressed the thought that living alone like my teacher must be a lonely experience. In response, my teacher said that she consciously chose to lead a solitary life in order to cultivate a deeper sense of solitude. What she said resonated deeply within me, even though I did not fully grasp her meaning at the time. And I thought to myself, wow, it is fascinating to walk this path just like my teacher. What do you think? To free ourselves from suffering, we need not precisely follow Strada's footsteps by abandoning our lives in search of truth. However, we can follow his aspiration to change the direction of our lives and prioritize spiritual existence, even in the midst of occasional moments of loneliness along our journey. The very journey of exploring our inner world and facing the nature of suffering is the essence of the noble path that Strada showed us. Let us continue walking this path together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Ginger, for sharing the Buddha's life, compassion, and practice, and telling us to go on the same path with Buddha together. And now we will chant the 4 great vows. The 4 great vows are the vows that all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have in common. So we will gather this vow in our hearts and chant together. Reverend Jay will chant first in Korean, and then we will sing in English, led by ministers. So please take the 4 great vows on the paper in front of you, and please rise.
중생무변 서원도 반내무진 서원단 법문무량 서원악 불도무상 서원성
With all my power, with all my heart, I will deliver all sentient beings. With all my power, with all my heart, I vow to end all troubled thinking. With all my power, with all my heart, I vow to learn infinite Dharma. With all my
Please be seated. I have a few announcements. We will have Memorial Day weekend retreat, meditation as a path to our true nature. If you want to learn and practice meditation in various forms in a very intensive way, it will be a great experience, and we will get a lot of teachings from Venerable Chuksan and Reverend Yu and sound meditation teacher Elizabeth. And you can commute if you want. And on each week, we have our ongoing programs such as Wednesday evening meditation, Thursday Dharma class in evening, and Tuesday and Friday yoga classes. So please check the schedule in the foyer and join our practice. And in June 11th, after the Dharma service, June 11th, we will have a big Sangha gathering. So everyone is welcome to join, regardless of having Dharma name or not. Everyone are welcome. And we prepared some cookies and teas for celebrating Buddha's birthday. So please enjoy your tea and cookies in the lobby. That's all. And thank you for joining this service. And may we all open our hearts to Buddha's life and teaching. Have a beautiful day. This concludes the Buddha's birthday celebration.